It is the Matt Mosley Show, and coming to you live. You're looking live inside the Mosley home studios. We will soon, by the magic of the Cowboys and our own Kevin Hoosier Hall. Great to have Kevin with us today. Kevin will cut in here in a couple of minutes when
not yet.
Yeah, not yet. That's not the cut in. That's just the hello.
Hello.
When it's time for Jerry Jones, Stephen Jones, and Brian Schottenheimer to get going in Oxnard, California. It is 1 o'clock local time, about 1:05 now, and it is 11:05 Pacific time, and they are getting everything set up and ready to go. Kevin is monitoring that scene, and then we will not only kind of let you watch a good portion of the news conference, but then we'll be able to immediately react to it and give you those kinds of reactions that you've come to expect from the Mosley Show. In the meantime, we do have breaking news today. The Philadelphia Eagles, and by the way, there it is. And Kev, we've got Big Ten Media Days is off and running, and very interesting today because it involves,
as I told you, the new Conference of Champions.
I don't know, man. Still kind of like that Pac-12. I still like when Bill Walton would say, the Conference of Champions.
When he said that, wasn't it the Pac-10, though?
He was still doing it when they had become the Pac-12, I think. But mainly he was associated with what we call the Pac-10. You are right. Kevin is monitoring what the proceedings there in Oxnard, and we'll have that for you in a moment. Then we'll react to that. And then Kevin, I know Kevin doesn't believe me. Nobody believes me on this. We probably will get out a few minutes early today because I've got to tape a Doomsday podcast, which is also part of the Rogue family. So we'll be wanting to do that. And so I'll need to jump out a little early today. And so Kevin will send our great listeners and viewers on their way just a bit early today, but we'll give you all we have while we're here. All right. Eagles are signing two-time, this is what the breaking news was about, Pro Bowl selection Jalen Carter to a 4-year, $152 million extension worth up to $160 million, sources told Adam Schefter. And the sources were the agents who did the deal. All right, Drew Rosenhaus and Jason Rosenhaus. I believe that's wait, does he have a brother? Because he's got a little kid, but the kid's not quite old enough to be an agent yet. I think that's his brother, his younger brother, Jason Rosenhaus. The deal includes $106 million guaranteed. Contract is the richest for a defensive tackle in NFL history in both guaranteed money and average annual value. That would be $38 million a year. Whoa. If you're wondering what George Pickens wants a year, it's about right here, by the way. It's about right here. Will he get it? I don't know. I don't know if he'll get it from the Cowboys. He may get it from somebody. I mean, even that Alec Pierce, Kevin's buddy, the wide receiver from the Colts, ended up getting a huge amount. I think he's up there around $31 million a year or something crazy. $38 million a year for Jalen Carter. 25-year-old has been selected to each of the past two Pro Bowls, 13.5 sacks, 37 quarterback hits, and 108 tackles in his first 3 seasons. And they picked up his 5th-year option for the 2027 season earlier this year. And so there we go. In other contract news, while we wait on the Cowboys, who knew that Jerry Jones would be running a couple minutes late? Baker Mayfield will play out his deal with the Bucs and then become a free agent. He's reporting to training camp without a new deal in hand. and will play out the final year of his contract before becoming an unrestricted free agent. They've had talks for several months. He previously stated he wanted an agreement in place before the start of camp, or he would discontinue talks in an effort to focus on football. He's looking for a deal that reflects his performance and is more in line with what quarterbacks of a similar caliber are making. And he said also he's unfazed by the potential of being franchise tagged in 2027, something Cowboys like doing. Mayfield, who led the Bucs to the playoffs in 2023 and 24, currently ranks 16th among quarterbacks in average pay at $33.33 million per year. All right, that's not Jalen Carter money. It's not Jalen Carter money. He wants Jalen Carter money. He wants a little more than that, probably. Franchise tag values are not calculated until prior to the start of free agency each year, but using the 2026 numbers as a reference point, the franchise tag for quarterbacks is $43.8 million. That's what he would make, 43.8. Not bad, not bad. I mean, it's not Dak money. Dak's making 60 a year, let's remember. Franchise tag is projected to rise. Are we ready?
They're coming up right now.
Okay, we are getting ready to take you to Oxnard, California, where Jerry and Steven and Brian Schottenheimer are headed to the podium. What happens generally at the first is the Cowboys PR will make a few announcements about how kind of things are going to go with camp and things like that. So he'll do that, and looks like everybody is getting in place. Okay, Jerry's already talking. Let's jump in and listen to Jerry Jones live in California.
And we have the goods, so to speak, to really change up parts of the team. That had 9 of 11 coaches on defense. That's a material change, and the system that's going to go with it, that's a material change. So what I'm excited about is that I really believe that we can do something. The last time there were this many changes of any team that I've been involved in, where we changed the system, changed out all the players, and plus changed out the coaches, was the first year with Jimmy Johnson, and we won 1 football game. So we know that changing out and starting new can obviously create quite a challenge. But I like what we've got to work with. I, of course, have a lot of confidence in our head coach, Shoppe, and have a lot of confidence in the coaches that he's involved. I believe we rounded up. We probably interviewed as many as 40, it could be 45 coaches that we interviewed. And so we're looking for the best that we could get our hands on, and made the decision with the ones that we've got. I think that's going to make gives us something to be positive about. I think we can build on it, and I think we can have some success.
Dak Prescott had a Super Bowl jersey, Super Bowl T-shirt on. Tyler Smith said it's realistic we can get to the Super Bowl. What do you guys think about those aspirations?
Well, I sure like I'll speak first. I like the idea that thinking that positive about what we're going to work for. We've got a long way to go, really having started in our spring. But that's good to me to be positive, especially coming from him. He's a big part. He's got a first-hand feel for what we can do, certainly on his side of the ball. And I like it. I like him to be thinking of that success level.
Clarence
Hill, DLLS Cowboys. Welcome back, Jerry. We haven't heard from you since the draft. It's been a drama-free offseason. Can you just talk about if you feel that way, there's like no contract issues or anything over and over his team? Does that lend yourself to believe that we have a different outcome coming this year?
Yeah, and Clarence, I never left, so don't need to tell me welcome back. You and I just haven't been laying eyes on each other. Okay. So seriously, I like the idea that the word is that we have had a quiet off season relative to, dare I say, off the field noise or chatter, whatever you want to call it. I like that. That hasn't been the case. We've had a lot going on, and we've had to really scramble a lot, the kind of stuff that you don't see. But that should be that way. It's supposed to be hard. But we've had a very active, we have made a lot of decisions. We have made a lot of difficult decisions in my mind. But consequently, what might have started out as a really nice, let's take it in and let's get it all, let's take it to the shop and repair it up. What started out that way, especially on defense, we ended up turning it into something completely different than it was when we started. So we even did more than I could have anticipated when we started. And I personally like the fact that the perception is that it's been a quiet, non-confrontational off season. That's good. I have really a lot of that where I live in my mind. I do, but I have some times when it's not fun too. So all of that's good. I like the mood. I like what we're coming to camp with.
Getting back to the Super Bowl talk real quickly. Dak said he feels you have a better chance to get to the Super Bowl this year because of all the changes you've made. He said, our goal is Super Bowl every year, but this year we have a better chance because of the things you did in offseason. Do you feel the same way?
Well, I would say this. Dak's feeling about it is more important than me feeling about it, because Dak actually tangibly can cause his teammates to play at a higher level than I can. So when Dak is that positive about it, that adds some credibility to it. I too can say that the fact that Dak is looking at what he's looking at causes me to feel the same way. I think we've got a chance to really be good. It's going to be hard. It's going to be nip and tuck. As old Switzer used to say, we're going to burn some of these wagons on the way to California for firewood. We're going to lose some folks. We're going to have some barn, but the wagon train's going to get there. So bottom line is, I love the excitement. You guys, for all practical purposes, don't expect us to be a contender in the Super Bowl. Y'all don't. Why would you? I like that. I do. I like that. And I like what we put together to show you that we can do it.
Lindsay?
Hi, Jerry. Lindsay Theory from ESPN. You said you like the perception that it's been a quiet off season. A year ago, you did mention that you like to sometimes stir things up so that we are always talking about you. So was it kind of a conscientious decision going into this off season to keep what you guys were busy with quiet and more behind the scenes than being maybe stirring things up in front?
Yeah. I've never thought that there was anything quiet or subdued about the Dallas Cowboys. I never thought of it that way, but I have been guilty of stirring it up, and you guys helped me, and we have been a great team. I promise you that for the last 30-something years, and so that does happen, and it is good. I don't believe it makes one iota worth of difference on whether or not we block the guy or go off tackle. But I do like the perception that we've had a quiet, uneventful off season, and let's see how we can work in that. Perception is big. Perception is big. But what I will tell you is I don't plan on doing anything around here for the next few days to stir anything up.
John?
John Shoppe with The Athletic for Steven. As you come out here, you look at your roster. Do you feel like everything you need is on this current roster, or could there still be potential moves to be made?
I think there's always moves that you can make to be better. I mean, we're entertaining thoughts on players as we speak right now. I mean, Will does an amazing job of, getting the players and putting them in front of Jerry, myself, Shoppe. And so we're always looking for ways to get better. I will say that I think we've done a good job of putting together a roster that's going to take the field today. They were out there working working out. That gives us a great opportunity to really do the things that we want to do, which is be a lot better than we were last year and hopefully compete for a Super Bowl. That's every team's goal. I'm sure if you ask 31 other teams in this league, their goal is to win the Super Bowl. And certainly when we go to work, every offseason, that's our goal. And but I do feel like, we've done a really good job of, doing the things that we need to do to improve not only coaching, but also players to give us that opportunity. But the other answer to your question is no, we're not finished. I mean, we're going to look for opportunities, every day to improve this roster. And obviously guys will go out on that field, they'll compete, and some guys will really show up. You'll be really pleased. And, like any team in any given year, even in years where we won Super Bowls, you're looking for ways to improve, as you go through training camp into the preseason and then ultimately into the season. You're always looking for ways to make your team better.
With Donovan Ezaraku, Deron Bland, do you expect them both to hit the ground running right from the beginning of camp, or will they need some time to get acclimated? And is there any other players that might?
No, Easy and Deron will be the two guys that we'll just monitor, but we don't see any restrictions. We're just going to be smart with them because they missed the spring. But we're very, very healthy going into camp, and hope that continues.
Thompson's ready to go?
Yeah, doing great.
We don't see any PUPs or NFIs at this point. Obviously they got to do a little workout here, and we'll see. But right now, talking to Jim and Britt, we don't feel like we'll have anybody start on the PUP or the NFI.
Nick Harris, Forward Star Telegram. Jerry, you kind of alluded to it a bit ago. A lot of change on the defensive side of the ball. So there's a process that you're going to have to trust throughout training camp and this season. How do you balance trusting that process, but also with the urgency to win?
We don't have any alternative. But we made that bed when we brought in new scheme, new coaches, new players. We're going with new right there. So I've bought into that. That's going to happen. We're here. Now, in dealing with it, we've got to start out here right now doing as best we can and bringing that thing to opening day and having these guys as ready to go and having the new guys that are new to being here at Oxnard and Cowboys, have them ready to go. One other thing I'd say that Stephen was commenting on is, candidly, I'd be very interested. I'd give up future to add substantive to where we are today as to a player, to give you an idea about would I invest something substantive to get the right kind of deal to improve us opening day. I would. I feel that good about this team this year. And of course, that I haven't seen this team play together. And so, but in general, looking ahead, I think we've got a chance to be worthy of spending some future if we saw an opportunity.
Are those kinds of conversations that are ongoing, or is that something, hey, let's look at the first 2 weeks of camp and then address to see if you want to put something substantial?
I talked to yesterday. I talked about a situation yesterday with another team and another owner. Yesterday.
Patrick.
Hey guys, Patrick Walker, DallasCowboys.com. Jerry, Steven, Coach Ryan, welcome back.
Thank you.
This is more so to you, Coach Shoppe. Obviously, you come out to Oxnard just like last year. This year, your task list is probably a little bit longer because you have some things that you want to improve upon over last season. Speaking generally, leaving Oxnard in the next 3+ weeks, what do you need to see happen out here to be able to say, you know what, we did everything that we needed to do to be contenders to start the season?
Yeah, I think it comes down to the work ethic, the way we practice. I've made it very clear we expect to have very physical practices, not only against ourselves, but we got the 2 joint practices against New Orleans and the Rams. And so I look forward to that. I'm going to go back to Nick's point, like, competing against the defense every day. I'm very confident in what they can do. The scheme it fits us well. The personnel moves that we made in bringing in Rashawn Gary and D. Winters and Caleb Downs and Malachi Lawrence, all those moves that we made, it was not a quiet offseason for us. And it was a great offseason for us. And one that we worked extremely hard on, starting with the coaching search. And I feel amazing about what we did, bringing in the defensive staff changes with Christian Parker leading the way, and then into, free agency and getting Jalen Thompson a guy. I mean, it has not been a quiet offseason. It's been an awesome offseason. And I think that's why we're excited. But now the goal is the Super Bowl. We don't shy away from that. But you got to trust the process. We haven't even had one practice yet. We've had a little bit of mobility run today, but the first practice is tomorrow. We get through this ramp up. But I think you're going to see a very, very confident football team coming out of Oxnard.
Quick follow-up to that. I know that you want to have physical practices, and what's the challenge, though, of upping the ante in that capacity, but also living within the CBA restrictions of doing so?
Yeah, there's less restrictions. There's more caps when you get to training camp. The spring practices or the OTAs have more restrictions than we do, but we do everything letter of the law. And if it's an hour 30-minute, which is what tomorrow will be, we'll be right at that. But you got to get better playing football by playing football, and that's what we're excited about.
Jane.
Jerry, you didn't say it loudly, but the word substantive stood out to me. You were engaging with the Raiders about giving something up substantive as it related to Max Crosby. Now, you don't have to tell me it is Max, but could you, one, why did you walk away from Max Crosby when it fell apart with the Ravens and not revisit that then?
We didn't. No, no, because there's nothing more to elaborate about, but we did not walk away. That's about all there is to say, because, we understood his injury well, and so we thought he could help us then, and we're surprised the way that was resolved, but to basically take what happened with him after he came home from back to the Raiders, to inject anything about what we're thinking or doing in because he went back to the Raiders would be a mistake.
He's a Raider.
He's a Raider.
With that being said, would a player of that caliber be someone that you would be willing to engage with another team in 2 weeks, so that we're not all speculating?
Again, let's don't hypothetical here and use specifically a player in a hypothetical situation. That is tampering. It really is. And so we don't want to talk like that and act like that. But that is a good example of what you can stand ready if in fact you think the rest of your team is coming along well, then those things stay alive. If all of a sudden you don't think it's coming along well, then those things don't stay alive. It is a good indicator of how good we feel about the team, the fact that we could do things like you're talking about right there. Now, I really got to emphasize here, because it is flat. He is such a Raider. He's complete a Raider, happy a Raider, everything in the book. And we shouldn't even be having this kind of discussion with him.
Fair enough. I just wanted to follow up, though, in terms of when you said that you would be interested in adding those players. Has that been part of the process this year of, you guys really, you've talked in the past about looking in the mirror. You've talked about the windows closing. And the last time that you really did this sort of soft rebuild was back in the early 90s. Have you guys been very deliberate as it relates to this roster and then waiting to not get one of these big fishes possibly in the offseason, but waiting to see what your team looks like heading into camp?
No, let me say this, and that was a mouthful for your question, and a good one. Seriously, very much in that look is looking right over there and looking hard and looking at our coach. Okay, how is he? This is second year. his 33rd year in the NFL on a coaching staff, but his second year as coach or some number. But you look at that, you look at what we have, you look at our quarterback, you look at our quarterback room, you look at all of that, and then you come up with a feeling. The feeling is that if we could get some things done right, avoid that injury bug at some key areas, we got a shot to make something happen here. I think the material, so to speak, or the players, the scheme, the measure of success we had on offense last year, the projecting of our offensive line being more efficient than it was last year, whether it be the player, whether it be as a group, as a team itself, all of those things are in place, and it feels good. Now, we're going to have to read the tea leaves as we go, but we're operating as though we got a chance to be one of the better teams.
Joe Trahan.
Joe Trahan.
Joe Trahan, WFAA TV. This question is for Jerry and Shotty, and it's about the scope and impact of the brand on your players. Because your brand is so paramount, we can't talk about the lack of Super Bowl success for the last 3 decades. We just can't, because you're too big. My question is about the message to your players in terms of what you tell them about dealing with the brand itself, and also not letting that shadow affect their performance and how they get to be the best players that they can be.
If we had done nothing but win Super Bowls over the period of time you're talking about, what I'm going to talk to them about in a few minutes wouldn't have helped them at all with what's ahead of them tomorrow, the next day, opening day, and this season. It is inconsequential. Okay? So it really is whether we have the kind of execution we want in the offensive line or whether or not we have the kind of discipline we want on our defense. As much as I'm a big believer in tradition, and it's such a big part of the entertainment and the game, it is not a prerequisite to being a good team this year as to what we have done the last few years. Now, if there are players on this team and coaches on this team, that one of the reasons we haven't been to a Super Bowl, they're there and they don't improve, that's legitimate. But it's not legitimate worrying about how long it's been since you've been to a Super Bowl as to the first step they make on this football field out here. So that's the approach.
That's part of what I'm saying, right? 30 years ago has nothing to do with, what they're trying to do. What's the message? Because again, we're in a different world here with the scope of social media and what these guys have to deal with as players. And unfortunately, they can't tune it out the way you'd love for them to just say, hey, filter out the noise. It can't happen anymore because social media has become too big. So how do you manage that and foster the message correctly?
Well, you talk about the pride. The pride of putting on that star is different. I get up every morning, I put on this shacket, whatever you want to call it, the visor. Our guys put on their jerseys and their helmets, and they're proud of being a part of this. That's why we go to the lengths of having the legends back, and we let Drew Pearson stand up in front of the team and talk about their time. And that was their time, and it was awesome. But it's our time now. And now what we do on the field is what matters. And so we celebrate the tradition. We're proud of what this team has done, winning the 5 Super Bowls, and we are in pursuit of that every day to get that 6th one. And not just for any one of us, but for them, for the guys that have put so much into this game that they love so much. So it's very easy. I mean, it's a pride thing, and I talk to more people around the league, and there's a lot of people that want to be a part of what we're building because it's special, but also because of the Cowboys.
1989, we rolled up out here on a bus. We were down at Thousand Oaks. We came up here to have a practice against the Raiders. Al Davis met us right out here on the field. Around this field were green fence and green tarp, as I think it might have been as tall as these structures right here. I mean, it was high. A cricket couldn't see in to watch the practice. It was that void of anybody being around or having any kind of influence on what goes on at practice. We have always been the opposite. We have wanted to practice in front of thousands. I personally believe that when you're out there, your pride, and you're doing a drill, that if you're sitting there doing it in front of thousands of people, that adds something to it. That adds some, not discipline, it just adds what you do when you're an athlete. I've always believed that. We've done that since the day we got here. When I used to practice in college, we'd go out there and practice, and 15 feet away from me, there were 1,000 people sitting on knolls, sitting there watching it. You did not want to get your ass beat on a one-on-one drill in front of all those people. And that you played above your play level, you practiced above it with that gear. That's why, philosophically, I think it helps the team to have the visibility.
Joe Hoyt.
Joe Hoyt, Dallas Morning News. Stephen, there's a shifting defensive tackle market right now. Jalen Carter signed a record-setting deal today. Vito wants a trade. Obviously, you guys are very bullish on Quentin Williams. Is that something you anticipate maybe having to talk with him and negotiate here in training camp?
Absolutely. I mean, we're very open to that. We want Quentin here for the long haul. Obviously, we've got a lot of resources tied up in him, and he knows what we think about him. We've, had some discussions with the agent about how to go about the process, but certainly he's one of the best in the business, and we know, kind of what that market is. Obviously, it evolves and changes, with each new deal, which is the case, at any position. But certainly he's at the top of the list in terms of people that we want to keep around here long term. And there's other players on the roster that we may take a look at as well. As we move forward, camp seems to always be a nice time, to look at something like that.
You guys told George pretty early you did not want to negotiate with him long term and wanted him to play in the franchise tag. He responded by showing up for mandatory events and obviously coming to training camp. What does that tell you as the owner that George Pickens is doing all these things?
Well, he's a valued part of our aspirations and our potential success. The combination that he has with the other talent on the team, I think, will make you feel pretty positive about what we've got a chance to do. The way we have worked this out is the way it fit. I'm proud that he will work it that way. I'm proud that he will. I hope that he comes out here and is the most prolific, successful receiver in the NFL this year. Now, how would you like to be a free agent and with his credentials and step out there and have a year like that? So I wish all of that, because if that happens, that was good for us. And we did it the way that we thought was best for everybody concerned.
Nick Eatman.
Nick Eatman, DallasCowboys.com. This is for you, Coach. You've talked about 5 offensive linemen, the best offensive linemen on the field together. How do you go about finding that, but also building the continuity of the offensive line at the same time?
Yeah, it's a good question. Obviously, Nick, there's a ton of reps out here. We're going to this deal where, from left to right, Tyler Guyton, Tyler Smith, Cooper Beebe, Tyler Booker, Terrence Steele, but we're going to move guys around and pieces around. And at the end of the day, we've been very open about the fact we're going to play the 5 best guys. We'll find time to move Terrence Steele around. We'll find ways to move Tyler Smith around. But, at the end of the day, the OTAs are good for teaching scheme and some skill development. But it's not until we put the pads on for an offensive lineman that you can get the real, true evaluation of those guys. And we kind of have a timing period that we think we want to have that sorted out. But it's a ways from now.
Smith sounded yesterday a different answer than we've heard. He said he wasn't exactly sure. Is anything changed on his front of where he's going to play? Yeah,
he's going to start at left guard, and we're going to get him some reps at tackle. Why? Just because we got to be ready, but that's no different than Tyler Booker having to get some snaps at center. Because at the end of the day, we're committed to winning and winning now, and we're going to play the 5 best guys. But again, I'm really excited to see Tyler Guyton, Nate Thomas, Drew Shelton. Those guys compete at tackle as well. So,
Tim
Kalishaw, the Dallas Morning News, still printing 7 days a week. Good to see all of you. Jerry, Is that your helicopter, by the way?
I'll tell you this.
Long way out in a helicopter.
You're going to scrimmage the Rams in a couple weeks, and they won a Super Bowl 4 years ago, and you talked about them betting it all for 1 year. They were back in the championship game last year. They made huge moves to get McDuffie and Myles Garrett. Do you look at them and see maybe there's a way, more aggression, being more aggressive than you have been, that works in this era? You look at them as a model for that, because you're talking about making a kind of move that you haven't been making.
Yes. I've had the discussion coming to camp with all of us. I admire the job that the Rams have done and how they've done it. That swapping quarterbacks was gutsy, and so they've done it. They've done it and moved. Yes, I admire the way they have put teams together and the way they have competed and sustained the competition. Yes.
And for Brian, when you look at last year, you're an offensive coordinator coming in. The offense was great. The defense was not. Beyond all the changes, coaching and players, do you look at anything you want to do personally, differently, from how you look at defense and how you examine and coach defense this year?
Yeah, and Tim, it's started early on. I mean, we first started with the OTAs. I spent a lot more time on defense than I did last year. I think part of that is, again, excited to hear what Christian and the staff are doing. Him coming from the Fangio tree and the problems that it's kind of given us over the past, 10, 12 years of my time calling plays. But also, I think it's a lot to do with my confidence in Clayton Adams and the job that he's done. I mean, this guy is someone that I just think the world of, no different than what we did with Christian. We went through this process, Jerry, Steve, and myself last year when we found Clayton Adams. And so we'll have some really cool comp days at practice where I won't call the plays and I'll let Clayton and Christian, dial it up against each other. And, I'm looking forward to that because, we need to win as a football team, and we didn't do that enough last year. And that's why we made some of the tough decisions that we made. And you make those decisions to make changes, you better get it right. And I think we did that.
Tommy
Yoner, StouseCowboys.com. Brian, you've seen Christian work a little bit in the OTA setting, but what stood out to you about his plan over these next 3.5 weeks to get his players ready to play his defense?
Incredible communicator. I can't say that enough. The way he's an elite coach, Tommy, is when you walk by his office and multiple players are in there wanting to listen and talk to him about scheme and things like that. But the organization, the way he's organized this camp on the defensive side of the ball, from the individual section to the tackling circuit drills to the ball disruption drills to the install packages from first and second down fronts, pressures, coverages, things like that. He is a first-time coordinator that doesn't act like a first-time coordinator.
How difficult is it to, in your first year doing it, you had it as a head coach last year, like you mentioned, this is his year as a coordinator, to put together a plan like that for the first time?
I think if you've never thought about it in your, years prior, it's really hard. But Christian's been preparing for this for 4, 5, 6 years. He's known that this is where he wanted to be in the defensive coordinator chair of an NFL football team. And again, maybe the hardest working coach I've ever been around. And that's why we're so excited about not just him, but the staff that we put together. The amount of hours that went into identifying the strengths of Christian Parker, Chidera, Derek Ansley, these guys, it was tireless. And so that's why I laugh about it was a quiet offseason. It was on the outside, maybe with storylines, but for us, we worked our asses off. And I'm excited to finally see it all come out into real football.
Michelle
Montaigne, WFA. Jerry, do you personally feel pressure to win this season?
Yes, I do. For all the obvious reasons. We've got certain things in place here that won't stay in place. Now, I personally think that when you haven't done it before, when you're not necessarily young, you just haven't done it before, I think that is a huge value to your associates. I think that you not ever being some of the things you've always wanted to do. And I think we're going to get a lot of that. Obviously, it's a great thing to have experience of somebody that's done something for 20 years. But that is a good pressure to be involved with a group that has really, they can do something they haven't been a part of. I saw where Williams said he's never been a part of a playoff team. Now think about that player. As accomplished as he is, hadn't been a part of a playoff. Well, there is a big plus there. That's good. So I like the makeup. I'm aware that we're doing some things for the first time in a lot of places, but I think that's going to be offset by with our coaching, the makeup of the coaching, and frankly, the mix of some of the new guys, yet they are veteran players, as they mix with some of the newer guys that are, if you will, last year were playing college. I think all that is a big plus. We'll see. If I don't care whether they are rookies or whether they're 10-year guys, if they can't communicate with each other when they get out there, it didn't make any difference on an individual basis where they were. And one of the main things that I have heard us talk about and say in interviews, countless interviews, and after we made the decision of who's going to be doing the coaching, the word of communicate, talking to each other, understanding what it is that the other one expects of the other one. This thing is ad nauseum, the chant. If you listen real hard out there when you're watching practice, you'll hear it be one of the real focal points of this whole camp is communication.
Deuce.
Mike Ducey, Fox 4. Brian, you may have answered this in part, but in spite of how long you've been around the game, were there things, or maybe one thing in particular you experienced having gone through this yourself the first time last year that will serve you especially well in year two?
Yeah, I mean, Mike, it's a longer story than just one response. I mean, you learn things every day when you go through this process. I think, there's countless lessons that you learn. I'm real big into doing after action reports on everything that we do, from the way we, grade film, the way we throw a practice, the way we have a mock, the way we have a meeting, things like that. And I'm also real big on not rinsing and repeating. What I mean by that is I don't like the first team meeting to feel like the same first team meeting that was last year, right? I think players in this era tune you out. So, but the big thing coming out here is I want us to practice, and I want us to have, really physical practices. And, we know how to practice the right way. We know how to protect one another. But we're excited about getting out there on the grass and playing real football. And, but there's a number of things. I'm always learning, and I honestly lean on everybody. I lean on the players. I lean on Jerry and Steven and Will, and the way I make decisions is by talking, and it helps me to think out loud like that.
Jerry, Super Bowl's come up a dozen times here already. With that said, what would have to happen for you to consider this a successful season for your football team?
Oh, I think to contend for a Super Bowl, which would, if you contend, you got a real chance of being in it and being in the game. I think those are the kinds of things that I don't believe are an outlandish or a reach to expect. And so that's a successful season. I expect us to be significantly improved defensively, significantly improved. And I actually expect us to improve over on the offense. And I expect the enthusiasm that Coach has talked about here to be contagious on the field. And if something like that happened, you can have somebody get in the big hunt and get in the deal that maybe a lot of people didn't think were ready for it. So let me just say this: there's no way that I would do anything that would delay until next year or the next year to try to get to a Super Bowl this year. I feel that good about what we're starting with that and it kind of alludes over to what we were talking about if a trade or something like that came along. We certainly can think about as far as my focus, my individual focus concern. I'm interested in being as good as we can over the
So we're talking about quiet off season, and I guess what we need is there's no drama. Right? I think you have to work. Everything from last year dealing with Mike and how you dealt with Pickens to eliminate drama this offseason.
Well, they were two different, really, two completely different situations, and different people. I want to give Shoppe really accolade for how he worked through this with George, and in terms of not him, but how he helped us communicate and work through it. This can be a very win-win thing that we've done here, us, George, and George being on the team. Make no mistake about it, George could be a cowboy for the rest of his career, and that'd be a long time. Make no mistake about it. This just fit for us, and thank goodness it fit for him, and we got it done. And let's look at that. It's not uncommon with these teams around the NFL to have this tension going on regarding players and contracts and things. We, of course, are focused when it's us, but this is not uncommon to have happen. It gave us an opportunity, the process gave us an opportunity to make some decisions last year. A lot of people disagree with some of the decisions that we made, but it gave us an opportunity to make some decisions. I think going forward here, we're going to see, hopefully, the positiveness of some of those decisions reflected in this year's football team.
Nick.
I want to talk about the cornerback room, obviously going to be one of the more heated competitions you guys see out here in Oxnard. What's your confidence level and how excited are you to see that competition?
Yeah, I'm really excited. I think, when you look at, from top to bottom, Duran obviously did a great job coming back. He feels great. Excited to get him back out there. Siobhan Revel was finally, feeling great, and I thought he had a really good offseason. I'm really very, very pleased with the ability of, DA and Ryan Smith and Christian Parker to, really dive into the finer details of how you play certain coverages and the techniques. Like they spend, ad nauseum amounts of time talking about fundamentals over scheme. We all have the same scheme. It's the way you teach the fundamentals that make the difference. I thought Kobe Durant was an awesome pickup for us. Darron Kendrick. It's going to be a fun battle to watch, and they're going to be able to go up against some of the most elite receivers in the league, which I think is important as well. And but what I expect to see is the confidence of that group grow. And that starts by getting in these practices and getting into the one-on-ones and some of the 7-on-7s and team drills that we do and watching those guys compete. And the thing that will be definitely different this year with CP is the trash talk, because he's pretty good at it.
Before we close out, I want to give a shout out to ESPN's Todd Archer, who would have been here. He placed himself on the non-football related injury list, and we miss him, but I know he's watching, observing, monitoring, getting ready to write, tweeting, all of that. We look forward to him getting back at it and joining us back here, because he's one of our regular longtime beats, and we miss him. So thank you, Todd. All right, everybody, that's going to wrap it up for today. Thank you.
And there it is. A nice word. I did talk to Todd Archer, my longtime associate. In fact, we covered the Cowboys together for the Dallas Morning News from 2003 through when I left after the 2006 season. So we spent a lot of time together. He was there when my daughter was born in 2007, over giving, her first Bumble gift, or Bumbo. I think they call that a Bumbo. Bumble's something else. But anyway, he's down for the count right now, and but I think he'll be in camp by August 1st. And we send all our thoughts to Todd. Tell you what we'll do. Because we wanted to let you hear that in its entirety and then we need to start reacting to it. And then Kevin's got some major Campus Confidential after that because he's been monitoring what's coming out of Tony Petitti and the Big Ten. Let's take a quick break, and then I'll be back to react to everything Jerry Jones, Stephen Jones, and Bryden Schottenheimer just said.
Right in the heart of Waco, there's a place Texas pride meets world-class flavor. The Dancing Bear Pub, open 7 days a week, 4 to 11, and offering happy hour Tuesday through Friday, 4 to 6. Wednesday is trivia night, and Thursdays is $1 off Texas Pints. A great place to meet up with family, friends, or make new friends. Kick back and soak in the laid-back vibe that keeps Waco coming back for more. Located at 1117 Spade Avenue, Dancing Bear Pub in Waco, where great beer and good company come together. It's the premier charity event of the year, the 2026 Central Texas Cattle Barons Ball, presented by Ascension Providence. A fun evening filled with great food and drink, dancing, a spectacular auction, and more. This year's theme is Nashville Nights, Neon Lights, and Bullfights. Get your tickets now, donate, or be a sponsor. Help support the American Cancer Society to find a cure. The 2026 Central Texas Cattle Barons Ball, October 24th at MCC Highlander Ranch. For more information, go to centraltexascattlebaronsball.org. At Schmaltz Sandwich Shop, we don't just make sandwiches, we build them with fresh ingredients, bold flavors, and homemade baked bread every single day. Toasty on the outside, goodness on the inside. Schmaltz Sandwich Shop in Waco is locally owned and operated since 1975 with 2 locations in Waco, Town West off Valley Mills and downtown off 5th Street. Whether it's lunch, dinner, or just a craving, we got the perfect bite waiting for you.
Streamline event and appointment booking with Amelia's sleek, modern, and fully customizable booking forms. WPAmelia.com. That's WPAMELIA.com. Amelia. Nalgene Outdoor has been your trusted companion, fueling adventures and helping protect the planet. We're committed to reducing waste, improving access to clean water, and providing simple, safe, and sustainable products for you and your family. NALGENE.com.
A house is a property, but we live in homes. Home sweet home. Homes where the heart is. We aim to deliver the best home buying and selling experience so you can spend less time real estating and more time living.
Why personal loan?
If I had somebody that was looking for a car, I would definitely recommend Allen Samuels. The trust that I have, the care that they take, they genuinely want to take care of you. They really ask for your feedback when you go to the support department to make sure they're taking care of you in every way possible. So I really appreciate that they listen to your feedback.
Like Allen Samuels always said, Waco has a lot to offer, and so do we at Allen Samuels Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, Fiat. Come by, let's be friends.
All right. It is the Mosley Show, and somebody said that was watching, Kevin said, I can't, this is like one of Colin Cowherd's top guys that's, is a producer on that show, a buddy of mine. Greg tweets, Kevin, I can't quit watching Mosley, watching Jerry. So we had Jerry Jones and Bryden Schottenheimer, and I noted, and Stephen Jones. Kev, I think this tells you everything you need to know about this organization. I think the head coach spoke for the first time about 17 or 18 minutes in. The head coach for the team. This is that particular news conference every year is always one that I'm interested in. And I've attended many of them over the years, but it is for Jerry. And sometimes you just wonder why they even send the other folks out, because it's mainly for Jerry to be there and make some of his points. And I would say a somewhat subdued Jerry. I want to remind our folks that are familiar with our Doomsday podcast. Ed Werder and I will record a podcast immediately following our show, and then we'll put that out there later today. And a lot of that will be reacting to what we saw and the Z-Man will step in and help us, Zach Burke, and help us get that documented. I would say that Jerry did seem a little bit subdued. I thought the most interesting thing about that news conference was Jerry basically saying, we have a good enough team where I wouldn't be opposed to going and getting something to help this team. Almost kind of like, in baseball, we're here at the trade deadline. It's almost like the Cowboys are in that mode. Like, we think we've got the kind of team that, we feel good enough to go add one more piece. Like, one more piece might help put us over the top. What is a successful season? I think Jerry defined it as being a Super Bowl contender. Now, again, we hear this over and over, and even Jerry admitted it. Why would any of y'all believe it? We could sit up here and talk about being a Super Bowl contender, but none of y'all think that we can do that. And why would you? And that's because it's been 30 years since they played in an NFC title game. All right. And then Super Bowl 30, Dak Prescott arrived at camp yesterday wearing a Super Bowl 30 Cowboys t-shirt. Is that some kind of big message? I don't know. Maybe he just likes the t-shirt. It doesn't matter. The truth is I've done it too. I used to have to make big stories out of this, and oh my gosh, they said this. But the most interesting thing in that news conference was Jerry saying, well, I think he was talking about just yesterday. I was on the phone with an owner. He said of Max Crosby, what caused you after everything happened with Baltimore? What caused you to get out? What caused you to get out of the running for him? We didn't, he said. Who said we got out of the running? Leaves you to believe that the door is still open for the Cowboys to make a big addition. And it makes the most sense that the big addition would be bringing in somebody to help the pass rush, because while they have Ezraku and they got Rashawn Gary that they've brought in, and they have a really good defensive line, some very talented defensive linemen, especially with Quinnen Williams. I think that's probably where they feel like they could use the most help, is with that pass rush. Now, who knows? Could be something else that they're thinking about trading for, but Jerry did not close the door on that. I think they think the world of Christian Parker, who you'll recall came to the Cowboys from the Eagles. And I believe at some point, Brian Schottenheimer said during that news conference, about a 45-minute State of the Union, State of the Team address, that he thinks he's the hardest working person he's ever been around. Is that hyperbole? Maybe. But my gosh, while he's only been a head coach, he's going into his second season. Schottenheimer's been around the NFL for a long time. He's worked in NFL circles for going on 25 years, 26, 27 years. So that's pretty interesting. Maybe the hardest working person I've ever been around. Well, they think they have really turned the corner there. And Jerry used the words, the 44-minute mark. Kevin, you'll be proud of me. I was taking my little time stamps, writing it down, when it was said, when things were happening. And he said, we will be significantly improved defensively. Significantly improved defensively. All right. So we're going to watch all that. But I do think that most interesting part of that was, hey, I've been talking to people. I'm open. I'm not tampering. I'm not trying to tamper, but we are open to doing business. And then he basically said, I never stepped away from Max Crosby. So let's kind of keep our eye on that storyline. Now, Jerry likes to get, one of the things he loves to do at these kind of get-togethers is talk about the past. 89, we rolled up out here. And again, that is somewhat, not that we need to be reminded, but, that's interesting what he was talking about for the Cowboys to come down from Thousand Oaks, spend some time with Al Davis and the Raiders, who Al Davis, much like Bill Parcells was, honestly didn't like people being able to see practices. had all the partitions up, was blocking everything. It's a little bit like the old Cowboys used to be, because they didn't like the Redskins peeking at them. And so one time even they rented out the whole upper floor of the of a hotel next to their practice facility because they were worried that the Redskins were up there spying on their practices. One time Tom Landry looked up at the out of the Cotton Bowl one year. They were practicing over there, and he saw a helicopter, and he thought the Redskins were spying on the Cowboys. There were all these spies like us moments. There were also some good talk about George Pickens and just kind of where they are with him and how they could see him playing the rest of his career with the Cowboys. But at least for now, they wanted to do it this way. And they seem to be very pleased that he has bought into doing it this way. He's shown up for the mandatory stuff. He's shown up for camp. He's going to play on the franchise tag. And unlike some of these years of the past, whether it be CeeDee Lamb, whether it be, last year with Micah Parsons, it does not seem like there's going to be any distraction, any kind of contract holdout with George Pickens as of now. So we'll keep our eye on that. So, and then also from a contract standpoint, they did say they were open to maybe talking about an extension for Quinnen Williams. A reminder that Jalen Carter of the Philadelphia Eagles got his extension done today. That was announced, and it's somewhere in the neighborhood of $38 million a year, $160 million deal, I believe. It was the biggest deal ever for a defensive lineman. $80 million guaranteed, I think, Kev, was the number, but pretty strong number for Jalen Carter. And the Cowboys know they may have to do a deal with Quinnen Williams.
$106 million guaranteed.
Guaranteed?
Yeah.
That's what you call the real deal, the guaranteed. Now, again, he's got to stay there for long enough to get it and all that kind of stuff. But generally, in $160 million, if you get 106 of it guaranteed, you're doing really, really well. Man, I find that Max Crosby stuff very, very interesting. Now, here's another Jerry quote that I found kind of interesting, Kev. We're operating as if we have a chance to be one of the better teams. Okay. Said it's our time now. When asked, Joe Trahan is a great friend of mine, the WFAA longtime guy. I don't know. I think he was talking about the brand and how hard is it with social media for the players to live up to the brand and all that kind of stuff. I got to say, I don't know that just because the Cowboys haven't been to the NFC title game in 30 years, these players are too young to really sit around and worry about that all the time. I just don't think, of all the things that might distract them on social media, having to live up to the Cowboys brand. I mean, Drake May stepped in, and within, his second year, he's leading the Patriots to the Super Bowl. I mean, do we think that, so we don't think that the legacy and the Belichick and the Brady stuff hangs over everything, out there in New England land? Sure it does. And they took a step away, and they floundered, and now they're back. And we'll have to see, if their head coach, because he got involved in some off-the-field, some extracurriculars, we'll call it. But that was the deal. Then let me look at some of this other stuff. Now, that was weird that Jerry opened the proceedings, Kev, with some comment about Jimmy's first season. Came out here and this is the most changes, he said, since like early in the Cowboys, since like the huge changes they made in Jimmy's first year. As Jerry says, we won one game that season. Well, that's a weird thing to bring up. Now, he also said, I like the idea that we have had a quiet off season. Really? All right. That's weird. I mean, that doesn't really sound like him. He said we have a chance to really be good. And he said those words I said earlier, you don't expect us to be a Super Bowl contender. Why would you? I mean, and it's true. It's true. Now, I would say, Kev, there are lots of intriguing things about this team. Malachi Lawrence intrigues me. Obviously, Caleb Downs coming in at safety, going to play the nickel corner, intrigues me greatly. That Barham, Jason Barham, man, he intrigues me. Out of Michigan, I think the offense could be really good. It was good last year. It could be great this season. They kind of bring everything back. And, they could have an explosive. If Jaden Blue takes the next step, they could have some explosive explosion there at running back to have more of a home run hitter type. Javonte Williams is a nice running back. I wouldn't call him a home run hitter. Jaden Blue might be that guy. So lots to digest from that. But again,
I think that one of the biggest missed opportunities here is Jerry Jones was asked what a successful season would be, and he said, well, be in Super Bowl contention. But no one asked him, how do you define that? Because they didn't make the playoffs last year. If you make the playoffs again now and you're back into that wheelhouse, is that considered Super Bowl contention? Or are we talking about you have to make the Super Bowl? Do you have to finally get past the divisional round? I don't know. No one actually pressed him on that.
Yeah, I think he's going so many different directions. It's hard to really press him on too much, but I know what you're saying. I think that to be a Super Bowl contender, I think probably what he's getting at is to roll through, maybe win a division title, and then be playing, in that divisional game. Does that make you a Super Bowl contender? Again, they haven't played. The only time they sniffed, like getting to an NFC title game, was 2007. Romo infamously, and now he's in the news for other things. Romo infamously went to Cabo. Bobby Carpenter was there. Witten was there. Witten never gets flack about that. It's only Romo. But during, they didn't play until the divisional round. So they had a little off time, and those guys went to Cabo. And boy, everybody thought that was bad juju. That was bad karma to be over there hanging out in Cabo. Well, they lose to the Giants at home. If they had beaten the Giants, they would have gone to the NFC title game. Giants go. Giants win that Super Bowl. 2007. That was Eli's first Super Bowl. They would win one again in 2011, I think it was. Okay. And then, Kevin, the famous, did he catch it? Did he not catch it? The Cowboys were in Green Bay. Dez makes the great catch down there around the goal line against the Packers, and looks like he does everything, has it. I looked at it again recently. Falls down to the ground, and for whatever reason they said, he did not complete the catch, or he did not make whatever he needed to do to complete the catch, and they said it was no catch. And then so that was ruled an incompletion, and the Cowboys lost that game. They didn't go. So I would say only twice. I was at the division game against the Rams out there in L.A. in the Coliseum. They didn't really have that great of a chance in that game. So only twice in 30 years did they really, truly have a great chance. Now, how close well, that was Dak in that divisional game. So that's about as close as he ever came. Was it Dak? Yeah. That was Dak, because that was like 2017 or 18. Actually, 2016, Dak's rookie season, they beat. They had that one loss to Green Bay, but I think that was in the. Wild card round. I'd have to look back at that. The one that Green Bay beat them, and Rodgers made an incredible play, and that was at the Cowboys. Was that a divisional game or was that a wild card game? I have to think back on that. All right, there you go. But Kevin, let me get back to your point. What does it mean to be a Super Bowl contender? Probably to, roll through the regular season and then get into the divisional game. And I mean, honestly, win one finally. Win one and go to an NFC title game. Like people always joke about, talk about Cowboys maybe going to Super Bowl. If they even went to an NFC title game, it would be the most unbelievable thing ever around here. It would end 30 years in the wilderness. It would be huge. All right. So it's not about Cowboys going to get to a Super Bowl. Get to an NFC title game. It would be enormous. Are the Eagles that far ahead of the Cowboys? Now that's going to be fascinating because I think the answer is probably no. I think they're fairly close, those two teams in the division. And now the Cowboys got their secondary coach. They got their passing game coordinator. Fangio, the great Fangio. Now, his pupil will go up against him. And you've got Vic Fangio here. You've got Christian Parker here. I mean, this is going to be a remarkable season to see what all happens with this. All right, there is our reaction to everything we heard. Again, watch the Doomsday podcast. We'll drop that at about 5 o'clock today. About 5 o'clock this afternoon, you will have in your inbox, whatever you do, Spotify, Apple, wherever you like to do all that stuff. All right. I mean, you do whatever you want. We will deliver you a quality Doomsday podcast. It'll be the kind of podcast that you'll be kind of sending to your friends. Look what I found. Listen, Mosley and Ward are back together. Look at how this came out. All right. That'll drop at 5. I got to get out of this show a bit early today, but I tell you what we'll do, Kevin, since we got a couple of fun Big Ten things to talk about. Let's take a quick break, and then let's do some Campus Confidential, and we'll check in on the mighty Big Ten because, listen, there's big news today on Congress. Are they going to be able to get the language where the Big Ten and SEC sign off on it? What has caused the Big Ten and SEC commissioners to talk 5 times this morning? They were on the phone 5 times this morning. What has caused that? That's next.
Enjoy a quiet atmosphere with beautiful river views at the Brazos Landing, located in Waco along the Brazos River across from McLean Stadium. Enjoy homemade dishes like shrimp and grits, chicken piccata, braised short ribs, prime New York steaks, and more. Plus, enjoy a delicious dessert like creme brulee or key lime pie. Open for lunch and dinner Tuesday through Sunday. Brazos Landing in Waco, the only place where I-35 and the Brazos River meet.
Okay, that was really great for the first time on your own. Let's maybe take a break and then we'll come back and do some more.
Sounds great.
Oh, you're back. That was a fast break.
I know.
Hi, would either of you be able to assist me?
Yes, she'd love to help.
Oh yes, I love assists.
Central National Bank, proud partner of Baylor Athletics and Baylor Women's Basketball.
Lake Waco Golf Club is a semi-private facility nestled along the north point of Lake Waco, one of the few facilities in Texas to have a full 18-hole regulation golf course as well as an executive 18-hole par 3 golf course. Plus, check out their bar and grill, which is open to the public. And if you're not a golfer, then enjoy time by the pool or even enjoy fishing around Lake Waco. Become a member today and call to book your tee time. Lake Waco Golf Club, where family and friends fun begins. Check them out at lakewacogc.com for more information.
At Schmaltz Sandwich Shop, we don't just make sandwiches, we build them with fresh ingredients, bold flavors, and homemade baked bread every single day. Toasty on the outside, goodness on the inside. Schmaltz Sandwich Shop in Waco is locally owned and operated since 1975 with 2 locations in Waco, Town West off Valley Mills and downtown off 5th Street. Whether it's lunch, dinner, or just a craving, we got the perfect bite waiting for you.
Mosley Show, here we are. And we've had the state of the team address. The Cowboys are in Oxnard. Steven and Jerry and Brian Schottenheimer. Even the head coach got to talk briefly. We heard a little bit from him, and good to hear from him. Good to hear from the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. We let you see the whole thing. We've reacted to it. We may have a couple more reactions, but this is the part of the show where, Kev, I think it's time to do some campus confidential. Let's see what's going on. I mean, where's the Big Ten? Where are they? Where are they holding this?
Chicago.
Okay. The land of Chi-Town.
Not out in Las Vegas, where
headquarters are. No. Well, Big 12 went out there at one point, but what
so
do you have for us?
I wanted to see how this strikes you, Tony Petitti's opening statement on the state of the Big Ten.
2006 was a remarkable year for the Big Ten, with 13 national championships. We became the only conference to ever win national championships in football and men's and women's basketball with 3 different schools, Indiana, Michigan, UCLA, in the same year. Indiana's win gave us our 3rd straight football title. The conference also earned 38 individual national championships, 32 National Player of the Year awards, 10 National Coach of the Year awards, 80 academic All-Americans, and 222 professional draft picks, including the overall #1 draft pick in 6 different sports. Add to that broadcast and attendance records, we are confident that the Big Ten is in the strongest position in its history.
All right. No, I mean, that's what you do. You get up there, you brag. I mean, that's a lot of first overall picks. I mean, I guess that'd be like, goodness gracious. I mean, we know about football. DeBonsa was the first pick in men's basketball. Who was the women's first pick? She was from UConn.
UConn, right?
So I don't know. I'd have to look through that and see what all sports he's talking about. But they've had a great year. And every ACC guy, by the way, got up and said a bunch of stuff. And, well, once you hear them, Kev, you're like, oh, golly, I didn't know the ACC was so great. And then the Big Ten, I would say, Kevin, by the way, have you started to see some of these patches come in? Were you going to talk about that at all?
Nope. But you can.
Yeah, man, they're putting the patches on. The Big 12 has the deal where they're all going to wear the monster patch. Notre Dame is going with SoFi. And that is my gosh, it's like $18 to $20 million a year to wear those patches. Whoa. And I guess it's on other sports too for Notre Dame, but that's pretty awesome. That's pretty amazing. And then Ohio State, Kev, they had one that came in around $17 million a year. Ohio State has a patch. What's theirs, Kevin? I'm trying to remember.
Can't remember.
Ohio State. Yeah. Anyway, they've got a patch. Kevin, people are saying.
I saw the BYU one was not going to interfere with the monster one.
See, the monster. What people are saying about the monster, and I'm not sure if this makes it better or not, is that the Big 12 is simply putting the monster stuff where the Big 12 logos have been. So it's not really like they're acting kind of like they're not taking the school's inventory away from them. They're using Big 12 inventory to put these. Now, you still have to put those things on your uniform, and these schools are not getting that much for it. They're getting $1 million per school. Notre Dame's getting $18 to $20 million for that SoFi patch. I mean, Ohio State's getting the big patch, the big-time patch as well. And, Kevin, I don't know if you have this. I'm going to say it real quick.
All right.
We do have some breaking news coming out of Chicago.
All right.
I was going to let you play the breaking news.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And
Congressional lawmakers have put the SEC and Big Ten on the clock. The conferences have until 9 a.m. Wednesday, tomorrow, to change their position on the Protect College Sports Act. Sources tell Yahoo Sports. Whoa. So just to clarify here, to be clear, Wednesday's deadline serves as the final chance for the SEC and Big Ten to change their position before the bill moves to the U.S. Senate floor next week, or before it is delayed to later this fall and or dies completely, sources tell Yahoo Sports. Would the Big Ten and the SEC feel horrible about killing this bill? I don't know. I mean, on the surface, they're acting like they're engaged and they're trying to get a deal done. Does this look like a man, or does that look like a man who would be all that broken up if we didn't get a new deal done, if we didn't get the Protect College Sports? Is it protecting college sports? It's sort of like protecting programs from just this runaway train that we have right now. But as part of the new language, Kevin, there's going to be another 20 million. There's the 20 million. I mean, like, first of all, how does that even work? How can you agree to this, the initial revenue that you agreed to, the settlement? How do you have the House settlement for whatever, $21 million, Kevin, and then Congress is just saying, oh, we found y'all another 20 million. There's a 20 million and you can use it for a retention bonus, but you can't go over that. Oh, wait, who's going to enforce that? NCAA? Well, they're not very good at that. I do have, Kevin, I had some funny news that I forgot to be able to share with you yesterday. The mighty CSC, the College Sports Commission, they're supposed to be investigating tampering and this and that, and people making a mockery of the cap. Well, Kevin, everybody's making a mockery out of it. Okay, they basically have to try to go after everybody in the country. Kevin, who are they going after right now? Did you happen to see which university the CSC has turned its bazookas on? They're ready to go after somebody.
I did not, but let me guess. Well, I'll tell you who it should be. LSU.
UNC. They are looking into UNC. All right. So, wow. That was a lot of stuff there, Kevin. Lots of stuff happening across the college football landscape. Kevin, what else do you have for us in Campus Confidential?
Well, you alluded to the reason why these two were on the phone for 5 times this morning. So the last one I have then is, what do you think, how do you feel about Brett Bielema taking a shot at the SEC, saying that they wish that it was 2005 all the time?
There you go. He's not that wrong. Now, he was part of the SEC at one point. Let's not forget that Brett Bielema was the former coach at Arkansas. Given what they've been lately, it kind of looks like the heyday. I would say the heyday at Arkansas They had some decent moments under Houston Nutt. And I'm only going back to since they've been in the SEC. And because before that, they had great moments. Lou Holtz, Frank Broyles, they used to be great at football. Ken Hatfield was even pretty good there. But I would say was Petrino. Where is Bobby Petrino now, Kevin? Do you know? Do you know where Bobby Petrino is?
He's still
Just
in
keep
football.
giving the same answer, buddy. UNC. That's right, baby. Mike Lombardi, Bobby Petrino, and Belichick. Just great guys all hanging out together. There you go. There you go. So
and
he's
super
right.
successful at it too, apparently.
He's probably right. He's probably right. So anyway, we got all that going on. Kevin, by the way, Petiti said earlier today he acknowledged the Senate bill won't be perfect. He says the bill needs to provide, quote, more help than not. He adds, if we can get to that place, then we can move into a position very quickly to support the bill. But again, until I see where we are, we're not quite ready to say that. There he is, Petiti. He's kind of, you can just see, even as Petiti's making that face. I could see, Kevin, him becoming a college football villain. He just has not been in front of a camera enough for most of college athletics and college football fans to know what he looks like. There he is, ladies and gentlemen. See, we know what Sankey looks like by now. We're still somewhat new to the great Petiti. All right? But there he is. There is the man. And it looks like, by the way, he was alluding to wanting the SEC and the Big Ten to play each other more. Get a room, guys. Get a room. All right? We know you love each other, and we know y'all run college football. It's fine. But my gosh, you don't have to rub it in all our faces all the time. We'd love to. We think it'd be great if we played them more. We know in the back of your minds you all have a super conference in mind. All right? And we know a lot of us would be left by the curve. Like right now, as much as I think Doug McNamee's trying to make some great changes, do you think Baylor is attractive in a super league, in a super conference? The answer is no. Could they become more attractive? The answer is yes. Got to get back to being really good at basketball, really good at women's basketball, but being great in football. And they did a deal the other day, Kevin. Did you see that thing? They did a deal like in the era of since the playoffs, since 2000. Oh, wait a second. How far did they go back? Oh, yeah. Since 2014, in the expanded playoff era. Yeah, if they expanded, they expanded it to 4. They did all the Power 4 conference teams. Like, what was your highest ranking? What was your highest ranking in all those years? Those big old Baylor Bears were number 2. Number 2, that probably would have been 2013 or 2014. They were number 2 in the country. All right. Pretty awesome. Pretty amazing. Probably 2013. They went into Oklahoma State, and Baylor, if they'd won that game, I think the old Bears were going to be number 1 in the country. And then our man Bryce Petty ran into some issues there. Was that 2000? I was just thinking of the Oklahoma State game. I think that's 2013. And then they were really good in 2015, and everybody got hurt, and they basically had to, put in like the wing T and just not play with the quarterback. So anyway, Kev, you never know when some Baylor stuff will break out. But but this is funny, Kevin. Of all the Power 4 teams, try to guess there was only one team since 2014 that had not even been ranked. That's never been ranked.
I saw that one. That was Rutgers, the birthplace of football.
Rutgers has not been. Everybody else, even Arkansas, even some of these, but Arkansas was up there. I don't know who was coaching. Maybe Petrino. I think they were like number 5 or number 6 in the country at some point. It's crazy to imagine that. All right, Kev. What else do we have?
Petiti also referenced that 7 of the Big Ten teams combined for the nation's 11 best wins this past season. And then you also sent this from Brett McMurphy that The last 3 years, the Big Ten has the best record versus the other Power 4 conferences.
In the college football playoff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That's not overall, but yeah, in the college football playoff. All right. I mean, that's pretty. So honestly, Miami's really carrying the ACC. This is over the past 3 years. I'm sure the SEC would say, do the last, go back 10 years.
Right.
And the SEC would look a lot better. Ooh, 2-7 for the SEC. Yikes.
Mm-hmm. And of course, the SEC would say, well, by the time we get to the college football playoff, we've already played a gauntlet of conference games.
They have.
Sure.
They
Until
absolutely
proven,
have.
and there's no actual scientific method to prove that because they don't play each other enough.
Who has been in it in the past 3 years from the Big 12? Tech got beat in one game.
TCU.
Oh. Yeah, but so that's must be 4 years ago because they got Big 12 0-3. TCU won the
they won the one
semifinal. So who would that be? Who are we missing here? Who played more than Tech had the one game? BYU's never been. Oh, Arizona State lost to the University of Texas. So that's one of those losses.
That's a close one.
Correct. That went over overtime.
Mm-hmm.
And then who else were we missing? How long I think are both of those trips that Texas has taken to the playoff was in the SEC. So they would count those losses Texas had and the one win they had would count for the SEC. Last 3 years. Where's the other? Who's got the third loss in the Big 12 in the last 3 years? Arizona State, Texas Tech, and I don't think Utah's ever been. Arizona had a good team, but I don't think Arizona made it. Colorado didn't make it. I'm just going through all the teams in my head. This is a strange one. 3 years ago, because haven't Texas and OU been in the big in the SEC for the last 3 years? Anyway, all right, we'll think of it. All right, Kev, anything else? Okay, Kevin, we need to share with our people more breaking news. This is of a NBA quality. CEO Rich Paul tells ESPN that Draymond Green has agreed to return to Golden State on a 1-year, $27.7 million deal. The contract is the same Green opted out of to give the Warriors flexibility to pursue LeBron James, but the sides land his return Tuesday. All right. I mean, it was nice of him to opt out, try to give the team a chance. They didn't land their guy. I mean, I guess he could have still given him some flexibility. Imagine, Kev, if you would, the great LeBron James. Some would say the greatest of all time. Even at age 41, agreeing to 2 years, $8 million, and Draymond gets $27.7 million for 1 year. Who's the better player at their ages right now? Draymond's probably 34, 35, I would guess. I mean, gosh, Steph's got to be 35 or 36, maybe even, right around then. That's amazing. That is amazing that this man will make $23 million more than LeBron next season. Now, LeBron's going to be on a better team playing for the old Philadelphia 76ers. And, Kevin, what did we learn yesterday? Going to play some point guard. What a joke. Yes, he'll bring the ball up sometimes. Yes, the ball will be in his hands. Sometimes he will initiate the offense. To act like he's going to be your full-time point guard is a joke. Is an absolute joke. Don't fall for that. As media, we don't have to. Well, I mean, yes, when we hear something, we're supposed to report it, but you also can use your best judgment. You can use your common sense and go, somebody lying to me. Somebody out here lying to me. Goodness. And Kevin, let's respect and let's show the great respect to our friends. And by the way, Thursday we'll do some Schmaltzes. Oh, I love them. We love them. We want them. We love Schmaltzes. And we'll be talking about him. But Kevin, right now, let's go ahead and let's tip our caps to the Brazos Landing. Oh, the great one. Oh, today is I think in some parts of the world, today is a Tuesday. I think I can get confirmation on that. What a great day it would be just to run over there to the Brazos Landing. Just do your thing. Just go over there, have a great time, and just luxuriate in what that is at the Brazos Landing. I had a leftover bagel this morning from the other day. So on my daughter's birthday, we went over to her favorite place, Shugs. I guess this was on Saturday. Yeah. And got a bagel, an everything bagel it's the Shugs bagel with the bacon, the egg, the cheese, and a little thin hash brown on there. And, is it way too expensive? Yes, for what you get. Is it incredible? Yes. And I heated it up today, but it just pales in comparison. I heated up one side of it because I didn't eat the whole thing the other day. And I had a really nice, it's kind of like, hey, man, this is okay. This is a good way to get my day started. After having been awakened at 4 o'clock this morning, to finding out that my daughter and wife, their flight to New York was canceled. All right. And then I had to kind of help navigate that. And they had to go through Houston and going through Houston to get to LaGuardia. Hopefully they've landed. All right. And by saying that I was much help is very much overstating that thing. Now, Kevin, let's encourage everybody. Let's watch the Mosley. Let's watch the Doomsday podcast at about 5 o'clock today. Z's going to help us tape that. I'll be doing that with Ed Werder coming up at about 3:30. We're going to tape that. We'll release it to you by about 5:30. All right. Kevin, I'll give you the last word. Is there anything you wanted to say today that you're like, golly, man, Mosley talked even more than usual, and he didn't give me the chance to make this point. Is there anything, Kevin, you would like to say?
Next time you're up around 4:30, just let me know. You can come work out with me.
Buddy, I don't know. I don't know if I'm up for that thing.
Woo.
And I hope there won't be a next time. What did you do? Did you get a weight? Did you get on the weights?
So I go to F45.
That's too early. They shouldn't open that early.
Well, of the times the classes are, that's the one for me. So it was a intense kind of endurance cardio workout today.
Have you ever met Kevin Engelbrecht over there?
No, I have not. No.
He runs that thing.
Yeah.
He runs that thing. Have you ever met John Henry, former Baylor running back great?
No.
I think he's like a personal trainer, and he may have some association with them.
Yep.
That's the kind of thing that would get me permanently injured. Like I've got some major back pain right now, and I have no clue why. I mean, I play tennis all the time, and I'm fine. And I've worried my poor doctor. I'm turning into one of these hypochondriacs.
Did some kettlebell squats this morning, and my back was definitely feeling it. But
yeah, I don't know what mine is a deep pain. It's like muscle pain / burn. There's a bit of a burn back there. Burn, baby, burn. And I keep thinking maybe I'm sleeping wrong. Maybe something's wrong with the bed.
Have you considered a visit to a chiropractor?
It's concerning. not a big believer in the chiropractor. I mean, they're nice, and I've got a friend that's a chiropractor, but and I shouldn't even have said that. I'd like to take that back. But when you've broken your neck like I have, the thought of somebody like cracking things is not what you want to hear. And chiropractors are known for cracking, hearing those cracking sounds.
What that is, it's not actually cracking the bones. It's a release of air pockets that's in there. But
I know. I get it, but I don't like the sound when I've almost died. All right. Much like Kyle Shanahan, did you see that? Almost lost his right eye.
Right.
We had that story yesterday, like first, because we had looked and Chris Sims said that on something else. And we went with that. And I thought to myself, that's weird. Like, why would ESPN not be talking about this? Right. And then this morning, they just put it up there like a headline, like it was the new, like brand new news. I'm like, we had this yesterday.
He did take some time to kind of relay what had happened, and apparently the report said it was the other driver's fault, the girl's fault. He said, no, I took my eyes off the road for a second looking for my phone. It was my fault. So he took the fault upon himself. And also Tony Romo, it was reported that he might be stepping away from the spotlight a little bit while this is going on. Shocker.
Wait, but not like away from doing games
I don't know.
this fall.
I don't know. That's just the report that I read real quick. So that's the last word from me.
Okay, no, that's good. That's good. Report. Okay. Let's see real quick. I'm glad you said that, Kevin. Recent arrest is reported by the Daily Mail via the New York Post. That's weird. Romo could fade from the spotlight in the immediate future. An unnamed source told the Daily Mail he might step back a little short term, but he isn't going anywhere long term. That wouldn't make any sense for us at all. I don't know who that is. He contacted his bosses almost immediately to let them know what had happened because he understood the story would spread quickly once it became public. This is Daily Mail. He's already canceled the appearance at the golf tournament, but was scheduled to attend and play in. And over the next few weeks, he's looking to keep a low profile while focusing on getting himself ready for the upcoming season. Okay, he'll be fine. And we continue to think about him. I hope he's going to be okay. All right, Kev, good work. Mosley Show. We'll be back with you tomorrow at 1 o'clock, straight up, 1 to 3. Everybody have a great one. We'll see you tomorrow.
It's the premier charity event of the year, the 2026 Central Texas Cattle Barons Ball, presented by Ascension Providence. A fun evening filled with great food and drink, dancing, a spectacular auction, and more. This year's theme is Nashville Nights, Neon Lights, and Bullfights. Get your tickets now, donate, or be a sponsor. Help support the American Cancer Society to find a cure. The 2026 Central Texas Cattle Barons Ball, October 24th at MCC Highlander Ranch. For more information, go to CentralTexasCattleBaronsBall.org. Right in the heart of Waco, there's a place Texas pride meets world-class flavor. The Dancing Bear Pub, open 7 days a week, 4 to 11, and offering happy hour Tuesday through Friday, 4 to 6. Wednesday is trivia night, and Thursdays is $1 off Texas Pints. A great place to meet up with family, friends, or make new friends. Kick back and soak in the laid-back vibe that keeps Waco coming back for more. Located at 1117 Spade Avenue, Dancing Bear Pub in Waco, where great beer and good company come together.
Central National Bank, this is Nikki. How may I help you?
Yes, can you please transfer me to the loan department?
You want to transfer?
Yes, please.
I'm sorry, you can't transfer right now.
What?
Have a good day. Yes, how may I help you?
Hi, I would like to transfer money from my C&B account to another bank.
Absolutely not. No. Have a great day.
Wait, hold.
I'm on your website and I'm trying to find the link for your payment portal.
The portal is currently unavailable. Have a great day.
We've received a few complaints.
Correct. We no longer allow any outgoing transfers, only incoming.
But the good news is no money is leaving the bank. Like none.
Central National Bank, proud partner of Baylor Athletics and Baylor Women's Basketball.